What's up, race fans? We're here in Bristol, Tennessee, home of the last great Coliseum, the Bristol Motor Speedway. It may be a short track, but I expect to see some clean racing today. Qualifying went pretty smoothly, not a lot of DNFs there. Michael Waltrip got the pole position. He ran a blazing qualifying lap, and he's going to start it off next to Ross Chastain with Ricky Rudd and Elmo Langley behind him. And here they go for lap one. They head into the curb. And Ricky Rudd goes flying right off the bat. He hits cars that are parked waiting for their segment, and he ends up on his roof out of the race. That's a bad points day for him and Elmo Langley as well. Ross Chastain took the lead on that last lap. Now he lines up next to Michael Waltrip. Looks like Waltrip has the edge. Chastain passes him. And Michael Waltrip's on his roof too. Ross Chastain's the last car in this segment, and it's only lap 2. Seems like all the drivers out there are drunk or high. It's pretty embarrassing. 3 out of the 4 cars in the segment have already crashed out. So all Ross Chastain has to do is finish these next 2 laps, and he goes on to the main event. So he finishes lap 3 without incident, and now it's time for lap 4. Gates are down, he is off, goes through the turn without incident, and he crosses the line cleanly. Ross Chastain will be racing in the main event. So here's segment 2. That's Sterling Marlin and Richard Petty. Rusty Wallace and Bubba Wallace, they aren't related. And Richard Petty's on his roof. That's an El Reco for Richard Petty on lap 1 of his segment. He got a podium in the Daytona 500. He's looking good in points for the top 12. But a podium is something he is not going to get today. He's on his roof and out of the race. And Sterling Marlin, he missed the Daytona 500 due to a qualifying DNF, but he's going to lead the segment down for the next lap. And they all cross the line cleanly for lap 2. Sterling Marlin keeps the lead. And lap 3 is off. Sterling Marlin leads Bubba Wallace and Rusty Wallace down the track. And it looks like Rusty Wallace is stalled short of the finish line. And that's an El Reco for Rusty Wallace. He is not going to finish this segment or move on to a seconds race, thirds race, whatever. His day is over. Now it's Bubba Wallace and Sterling Marlin who's going to take home trophy for this segment. Bubba Wallace gets off to a fast start. And now he's on his roof and out of the race. Bubba Wallace could have had an easy pass into the seconds race, but he flips at the last second too. Sterling Marlin will be advancing to the main event. It's pretty brutal out there. A lot of these drivers are not handling the track very well at all. So here's segment 3. Your Daytona 500 winner Jimmy's on the front row alongside Jeff Fuller, who joined him in the main event. Johnny Benson joined him in the main event. And that was E. Marshall starting in the back, and well, he's going to finish this race towards the back, too. He's on his roof and out of it. And this is really bad. Now we have as many DNFs as we had in the whole Daytona 500, up to and including the main event. And it looks like Jeff Fuller got the lead on that lap. Beat out Benson and the Daytona 500 winner, Jimmy. And he leads the field down into lap 2. And Jeff Fuller's on his roof now. Jeff Fuller had this segment in the bag, and now he's out of the race too. I want to know if there was some kind of sabotage on the cars or if they just had too much fun last night. Whatever the reason is, not a lot of cars are finishing. And it looks like there's another car off the track. That's Johnny Benson. He was in the feature last week at the Daytona 500, and he's on his roof too. And just like Ross Chastain, Jimmy's just got to finish the last lap here. And he'll be going on to the main event again. He'll have a sizable points lead as long as he finishes these laps. And here he goes. And now it's for the final lap of this segment. Jimmy runs down the track smoothly, finishes his lap, and he will go on to the main event and more than likely add to his already big points lead. And now it's time for segment number 4. David Green leads the field down, and, well, he doesn't even finish the first lap there. And neither does Ronnie McD by the looks of it, so that just leaves Alan Kulwicki and Pete Hamilton to finish this segment. And there you can see the wreckage. David Green and Ronnie McD not even finishing a lap in this race, despite David Green starting on the pole for this segment. And here they go for lap 2. They're off, and Alan Kulwicki has by far the better car here. They both finished the lap. Alan Kulwicki has a 5-6 car length lead. Lap 3 out of 4. And it's getting pretty predictable now. Alan Kulwicki easily dominating this segment unless something stupid happens again. And the final lap of the segment, Alan Kulwicki with Pete Hamilton on the outside. Will we have a segment where more than one car finishes? And Pete Hamilton stays on his wheels long enough to go to the seconds race as long as two of these drivers finish their segment. Todd Bodine leads him off with D driver to his side, Bill Elliott and Stacy Compton. And the back row takes each other out. Bill Elliott got a podium in the 500, but he won't today, as well as Stacy Compton. And wrecking on the first lap and having the slowest qualifying time of all 20 drivers, that's a guaranteed last place finish for Stacy Compton. And as long as both of these drivers finish, there will be a seconds race, and D driver takes himself out. And so far, it looks like he's been the opposite of his teammate Jimmy on his roof back-to-back races. Not going to be in the top 12 in points at the end of this, I don't think. And all Todd Bodine does is finish these next 2 laps in order to go on to the main event. And this main event will be the main event because only 6 drivers will have finished the segment racing, eliminating any need for seconds, thirds races. And Todd Bodine finishes it on his wheels. And there's no need for a seconds race because only one car finished second. It's main event time. They are down for the first lap. And it's clean until they hit the curb. And it looks like Todd Bodine is on his roof. Got another driver on his roof near the finish line. That is Ross Chastain, I believe. Yep, that's Ross Chastain. Todd Bodine not going to finish. And several cars went flying off the track there. There's Todd Bodine. Sterling Marlin left the track somewhere. Actually, no, he was so fast he crossed the finish line before anybody could even see him. And he leads the field down to green for lap 2. And if you look there, Alan Kulwicki flips over on his roof, then recovers and finishes the lap in the lead. 2 other drivers DNF. Alan Kulwicki's on his roof, but somehow manages to make the most miraculous recovery. Sterling Marlin and your Daytona 500 winner Jimmy are out of the race. Alan Kulwicki makes a recovery from his roof back on his wheels, and he is in the driver's seat to get the win here. And there is trouble at the start gate. Pete Hamilton goes down, takes a mighty big tumble from the top, and he is out of the race. Alan Kulwicki will be the only driver to finish. This one last lap, Alan Kulwicki finishes it, and he wins the race. And Alan Kulwicki becomes the only driver to complete every lap in this race. Alan Kulwicki gets the win at Bristol. Here he is in the winner's circle. What a disastrous event. 19 DNFs. What an absolute disaster. A garbage showing from everybody else involved. Here is your updated point standings after the event. Now, after the first 2 races have been completed, the top 12 drivers in points have a guaranteed starting spot in the next race, which is going to be at Le Mans, the 24 laps of Le Mans in France, the longest straightaway in the world. It'll be some exciting racing, a lot better than what you've seen here. Bristol's definitely going to get a repave before next season. And Jimmy has a 25-point lead over Alan Kulwicki after getting top 5s in back. That is all from Bristol. I apologize for all the wrecks. Actually, I sort of don't. It was the driver's fault. But Bristol's definitely going to get a repave for next season. The 24 laps of Le Mans next episode is going to be packed with action. A lot more exciting than this race was. It's going to be freaking awesome. Peace out, guys. See yous out there on the track.